So as someone that loves to train, I often justify working biceps and triceps into conversation, but there is a physiological reason why as a singer, you want to work on those things. Not only do they look great on stage, but they also allow you to sing more freely. The reason being is that when my biceps and my triceps are active and I'm moving my arms around, they're gonna do what is called load sharing, which means that they're going to take load off of the neck, okay? If I'm moving my arms in space, for example, and my arm muscles and moving and making motions with my hands, and my arm muscles are not in a good position to activate and kind of distribute the load throughout my wrist, my forearm, and eventually my shoulder, my rotator cuff and my neck is gonna have to take a lot more of that work in order to lift my arms and move my arms around. Okay, so the stronger, the more active our biceps and our triceps are, the more they take load off of our neck and give us more freedom up here. Ultimately, that's going to affect the position of your airway, the tension here. The other thing that we want to consider with the arms is the connection it has to our scapula. Okay, our scapula are wing bones that are kind of and our shoulder blades behind our back here. Okay? And the reason that that is important is that they're also going to direct the way that I transmit force from my arms up to my airway. Okay, they have an indirect connection to the airway via the omohyoid. Okay, so they do affect the position of the voice box and ultimately the position of the hyoid when we're going through, when you're singing, when you're moving your arms and that sort of thing. So in this, in our episode today, we're going to talk about some exercises to achieve the optimal position of our shoulder blades and in order to control our shoulder blades, as well as exercises that are going to really focus on activating our biceps and our triceps to put our airway in the optimal position to do work and to look great. So when we talk about activating or working our biceps and our triceps, a lot of people think about curls and tricep extensions and exercises where we're holding weights. Okay, and that stuff is good, but when we want to emphasize the connection between our hands to our airway, we want to think about the pressures that we place in our hands. Okay, when I grip and when I kind of bring my hands together, that's sending one signal, whereas when I open my hands and I sort of push away, that's sending another signal. Okay, and so what I like to do is combine what we call open chain and closed chain exercises, where we do things with our hand fixed to a surface, followed by things that are more freestanding to kind of give your body the experience of both of those things to transfer to singing. Okay, and so there are two key areas that I want to key in on. Okay, so when we're talking about force transmission through the triceps, okay, we have our thumb and our index finger. Whereas when we talk about transmission to biceps, we have sort of our pinky finger. And the importance of that is that when we don't bear weight in one of those two areas, we're going to have sort of an overactivation of one area and underactivation of another. And again, that can put the squeeze in the airway. So what I like to do, or what I'm going to show you here, are just two different positions that we can use to really emphasize this. Okay, and we're going to use a wall here to do so. So for this first exercise, what I'm going to do is place the weight primarily through my thumb and through my index finger. Now, I don't want to have my pinky finger off the wall, but I'm going to place much more focus here. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to start in a push-up position. Okay, I'm putting the weight in this area, in my thumb and my index finger. And what I want to do is get low. Okay, I want to get about halfway into as if I'm doing a push-up here. And so what I'm going to start to do is just shake the wall. Okay, I'm going to keep my weight in these areas. I'm kind of just coming up and down. Okay, and I just call these shakes. I'm going to do about maybe 50 wall shakes here, 25 to 50. And I'm just feeling my triceps turn on, turn off, turn on, turn off. And eventually you're going to start to feel quite a bit of burning here. Okay, from here you can just kind of stay in this position, move from side to side, just really focusing on keeping my weight on the inside of my hands. Okay, and the net result is that I get a lot of tricep activation. Now what you might notice is that as you're doing this, the neck might kick in, or other muscles might start to kick in that are not what we want. Okay, and so in that case, just relax and rest. Okay, that's your muscles that are used to activating, kind of our muscles of our upper traps, maybe overactivation of the rotator cuff, wanting to kick in for our triceps. Okay, so that's an endurance thing. And what we can do is maybe start with 25 shakes and then move to 50 shakes, or combine them with sort of going from side to side, that kind of thing. We just want to make sure that we're feeling our triceps in that scenario. Okay, so that's kind of focusing here and here. Now, when we're working our biceps a little bit more, we're going to focus a little bit more on our pinky. Okay, and with that, I'm just going to put my hands like this. Okay, so it's almost like I'm doing a bicep curl. Okay, I've got my weight here, and I'm really doing the same thing, keeping my weight on my pinky here, and I'm just sort of shaking the wall. Okay, and again, from there, I can just sort of lower down. I can go from side to side. You can kind of see my arm muscles doing work there. But I really like to begin with that series because it's going to act to kind of give me some good pump. Okay, it's going to make my arms look great, but it's also going to take a lot of load off of my neck so I can proceed to what we show you in our next segment. All right, so once we've worked on the stuff on the wall, or you can even do it on the floor, we want to then kind of connect everything together. Okay, we want to work on sort of slow arm movements in a standing position that are going to kind of replicate what we're going to do on stage. Okay, and you're probably going to do all types of things on stage, but there's a particular way that I like to do this, which is going to be rotating my torso in a few different ways. Okay, and so in the beginning, what I'm going to do is just bend my knees. Okay, and maybe find the middle of my feet so I get grounded in this position. The way this is going to work is I'm just going to begin by holding like this. So you can see it's almost like I'm pushing this side away. Okay, and I'm emphasizing this sort of inward motion where it's almost like I'm pushing the air in. Okay, that's going to make my scapula what we call protract or push forward. It's going to rotate my torso to the left. I'm sorry, to the right. So I'm rotating away from the side that I'm reaching on, and I'm opening up my other side. So you can see what I'm doing here is I'm opening my hand, I'm kind of emphasizing my pinky side. I'm just breathing into this position, okay? And then I can switch. I can move at different planes of motion the same way. And then I can start to get just a little bit more expressive with it where I do something like this. I open my hand up, bring my hand down. Open my hand up, breathe in, bring my hand down and exhale. And again, I'm just giving you an example. The main thing to think about here is that we're kind of emphasizing this as we pull ourselves into a position, and this as we push ourselves out of the position, okay? And just really focusing on these sort of open chain or standing hand pressures before you start to sing is going to ensure that everything is connected together, okay? So if you find that you have sort of, gripping on one side or the other, focus a little bit more on that side, but really work on getting your biceps and your triceps active, and then you'll really feel that carryover, as you're in this standing position to kind of bring things to life as you stand, so we can really use expressive arm movements as you sing.